So let's maybe go over everything just in a short version of it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, we apologize really for the inconvenience. It was a technical issue we could not have foreseen.
Thank you. So just briefly, I would like to say a few words about our company, Helpers Hungary, who's hosting this event. So Helpers is the leading provider of business and relocation services in Hungary for more than 18 years. We've been on the market, and we provide full comprehensive services for citizenship application. Our goal is to make the procedure as seamless and stress-free as possible. We can assist you with family tree research, certified translations, Hungarian language course, so basically the full application process. Since 2010, more than 1 million people received Hungarian citizenship. Let's just briefly list of the many reasons why it could be attractive for someone to become a Hungarian citizen. So if you're a Hungarian citizen, then you are also a citizen of the European Union. So you will have visa-free access to 185 countries all around the world. You can basically live, study, work wherever you wish within the territory of the EU. Hungary also allows dual citizenship, so you can even keep your original citizenship. You can also get closer to your roots. You can discover distant family members of yours in Hungary. You can learn more about your Hungarian ancestors, their culture. As a Hungarian citizen, you can have access to high-level education and healthcare systems. You can even study at the Hungarian university. Many of them offer courses even in English. Now let's discuss the different process types. So today we are going to talk about the 4 main process types: the simplified naturalization based on Hungarian ancestry, the simplified naturalization based on having a Hungarian spouse, citizenship verification, and the last process type is the regular naturalization. So let's just start with the first one, which is the simplified naturalization based on Hungarian ancestry. The Hungarian government has introduced this process type back in 2010. You can be eligible for citizenship if you have a Hungarian ancestor and you can prove with documents that you are connected to that ancestor. So you will need to submit vital records such as birth, marriage, or death certificates with official Hungarian translation. The most commonly referenced ancestors are grandparents, great-grandparents, or even great-great-grandparents. It's important to know that you can be eligible even if your ancestor was not born at the current territory of Hungary. It is because the country's territory was significantly shrank after the First World War. So you can be eligible if your ancestor was born in the previous territories, so some parts of Ukraine, Romania, Croatia, Serbia, Slovenia, Austria, or Slovakia. As for the processing time, so it takes around 10 to 14 months after you submitted your documents. It's important to note that you will need to submit your application at the Hungarian consulate or at the government office in Hungary. You will need to present your documents in Hungarian without any external help. You will have a short interview at the officer, so the language requirement is conversational since you will need to communicate in Hungarian. That would be all about the ancestry-based application. And now let's discuss the requirements for the simplified naturalization based on having a Hungarian spouse. You can be eligible if you are married to a Hungarian citizen for 5 years and you have a child together, or for 10 years. In this case, the preparation time can be much faster since you don't need to present any documents about your ancestors. You just need to prove with the marriage certificate that you are legally married to a Hungarian citizen. The processing time, however, is the same, so between 10 and 14 months. And again, you will need to speak Hungarian on a conversational level. You will need to submit your application in Hungarian at the consulate or at the government office. As for the third process type, which is the citizenship verification, you can be eligible through this process if you can prove that your Hungarian ancestor never lost their citizenship. The most commonly referenced ancestors are parents or grandparents. So basically, if your ancestor was still a resident of Hungary after 1929, then there's a high chance that you are eligible for Hungarian citizenship through verification. As for the required documents, you will need to submit vital records. So again, birth, marriage, or death certificates with official Hungarian translation. Processing time is the same, so it takes around a year to get the decision after you submitted your documents. However, you won't need to speak any Hungarian, so you will be able to submit your application without any Hungarian knowledge. As for the last process type, which is the regular naturalization, this application could be based on being a permanent resident of Hungary for a certain period of time. You need to be a resident for minimum 8 years, and you need to have the plastic address card for 8 years. This period can be shorter if you have a Hungarian spouse or if you have a Hungarian citizen child. Then you can apply after being a resident for 3 years. You will need to pass the so-called citizenship exam or constitutional exam in Hungarian. Only after that, you can submit your documents at the government office in Hungary. As for the list of required documents, you will need to collect a bunch of documents, including proof of financial stability, your employment, taxation status, proof of accommodation, and health insurance. The processing time is basically the same, so it takes around a year. It can take longer in all cases if the authority requires further information or documents from your side. So basically, these were the main process types and requirements for Hungarian citizenship. I hope that it was useful. And let's see if we have any questions to discuss.
Yes, thank you very much, Dorka. We did have some technical difficulties. I'm just seeing right now. So what we have left off is that, the introduction that we introduced each other, that was not present in the live
Oh, I
stream.
see.
So we are going to, finish everything and then start with, or finish with the ending. But yes, so my name is Alexei Scheffer, and I am a digital marketing manager here at Helpers Hungary. Helpers Hungary is the organizer of this event today, and I'm accompanied by Dorka Saba, who is the head of relocation at our company. And this was, as you just saw, a brief presentation of all the available citizenship procedures currently. Now we have come to the FAQ section of our webinar. So I will check now if we have any questions, but until I check, Dorka, we know that we receive a lot of questions about the timeline, the passport,
Yes.
language requirements, and the application. You mentioned that most of these procedures require for a person to speak Hungarian on conversational level.
That's correct.
Yes. What would you say, what is the average time somebody needs to learn Hungarian if they are starting from scratch?
Mm-hmm. Well, that really depends on each person. Hungarian is a difficult language, but if you have a good tutor or if you signed up for a language course, then you can get ready for the citizenship interview, I would say, within 6 to 12 months. But you really need to dedicate time to learn the language. You really need to focus on that. And you would need someone to teach you the specifics. So yeah, I would say around a year.
Thank you very much. We actually do have some questions.
Great.
Again, people are talking about the technical difficulties that we had, so we apologize for those once again. So we have a question. I do not want to butcher any names. So from Dr. Narti. Dr. Narti says, my uncle is Hungarian citizen. I visited him in 2019 and he died last year. Do I have a chance to apply for Hungarian citizenship?
This is a specific question, but I believe if your uncle was a Hungarian citizen, then you do have Hungarian ancestors. You just need to get their vital records. And here I like to mention that getting the vital records of your ancestor can be a bit difficult or challenging if you live somewhere else. So you would need a genealogist to help you. But yeah, I believe you do have a chance, but you would definitely consult with someone. You can, as mentioned, you can book a consultation with us so we can discuss your specific case and documents and confirm whether you are indeed eligible or not.
Maybe we could get a little bit to the, because we mentioned that the most referenced ancestors are great grandparents or grandparents, but can it be an uncle? Can it be an aunt? Can it be some other relative who is not?
It has to be a direct relative. So you would need to go back to that ancestor who was a Hungarian citizen. So
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. And I hope, Dr. Narti, that we answered your question. There is from Katie Shebek, she's asking, my grandparents were born in Page, but I cannot source their marriage certificate. Can I apply without their marriage certificate?
But if you have their birth certificates, then yes, but you should know that submitting the marriage certificate of your Hungarian ancestors is also a requirement. So getting some information where and when they get married would be very useful. So a genealogist could actually locate their marriage certificate if it was if it happened in Hungary.
But for example, what if they cannot find the marriage certificate at all?
Then they can still apply for Hungarian citizenship if they have the birth records.
So the birth certificates have to be present in that
Yes.
case. I understand. Katie, we hope that we answered your question. We have a question from Odon Kovac. I currently live in Australia, but I have roots in Hungary, great-great-grandma. I'm thinking about getting a Hungarian citizenship or a passport. What would you recommend for me?
Well, first you would need to check if you have any records or information about your
great-great-grandma.
Yeah. So if you have any information about your Hungarian ancestor, I assume you do not have her birth record. But if you do know when and where she was born, then again, you would need someone to locate her birth certificate. But without any information, it's a bit tricky. So you do need to provide some information about their birth. So when and where she was born, and also full name.
We have a question from Bill Lloyd. He's asking, there is a CV in Hungarian requirements to submit with the application. How detailed must this be? Are there examples that are shareable?
Good question, because I actually didn't mention the CV, but you're right. If you're applying through simplified naturalization, then you will need to write a one-page CV. It shouldn't be that detailed. You just basically need to say a few sentences about yourself, your profession, your family. You should also include some information about your Hungarian roots and why you're applying for citizenship.
And this has to be written in Hungarian, right?
Yes.
And by hand, if I'm correct.
That's correct. And most of the time when you are submitting your application, the officer is going to ask you to rewrite or write down your CV there on the spot. So you should know that you are ready for that. Yeah.
Katie, if you remember, she's asking about a marriage certificate. She says that she has all their birth certificates, original ones.
That's great.
But the embassy told them that she cannot apply without the marriage certificate.
Well, of course, following the consulate's advice, since they are the officials, they are the authority. It's advisable, but Applying without the marriage certificate, I believe you still have a good chance. And it's actually not the consulate who's making the decision at the end, but the authority based in Budapest. So if you're unsure, I definitely recommend you contacting us. So we can check the documents you have. We can also double check with the relevant authority, and we can confirm for sure if you can apply for not. So we would definitely need to know more about your specific case.
Yes, we'll talk a little bit later about that.
Okay.
I think it's Luz who is asking, my father is a Hungarian citizen, but received it through the ancestry process.
Okay.
If I want the citizenship too, do I have to do the ancestry process too, or is it possible to do verification process?
Most probably you would need to go through the ancestry-based application, but we would also need to know the details about your father, right? Father's application.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a question again. Theophilus is asking, I have been living in Hungary for the past 6.5 years. I have 2 Hungarian children. My first child is 3.5 years, but I just got married with my Hungarian wife this year. It's a very good question. Am I eligible? He's asking.
So you said 6 years?
Yes, so they have to. That is not mentioned.
So can be eligible based on being a resident of Hungary. If you have the plastic address card, it's very important. So you need to be a permanent resident of Hungary. And if you have a Hungarian citizen child, then you can be eligible after 3 years. If you have the plastic address card for 3 years, and you need to pass the constitutional exam in Hungarian.
So he has to speak Hungarian on a conversational level.
Yes, and pass the exam.
Okay, thank you very much. So far, we don't have any other questions, but I think that there are some very good ones that we have collected that have not been answered just yet.
Yes.
So, for example, we just mentioned that someone has to speak Hungarian on conversational level for most of these processes.
Yeah.
How long does it take for someone to learn Hungarian if they're starting from scratch?
I believe we discussed the language requirements, that it really depends on each person's linguistic abilities. So I would say it takes around a year to learn the language.
And are there any exceptions for the language? Like, for example, if someone is above the age of 60, they don't have to know the language or something like that?
Actually, no. If you are applying to simplified naturalization, you need to speak the language. There is one exception if you're applying based on permanent residency, so through regular naturalization, and you are over 60 years old, then you don't need to take the constitutional exam.
And could you tell us a little bit more about the constitutional exam? What is it? How does one prepare for it?
Sure. So basically, the exam is about Hungary's history and culture. There is one specific book you can purchase directly from the government office. You need to basically study that whole book. And after that, you need to sign up for the exam. There's a written part and there's an oral part. And after you pass the exam, you will get a certificate. And with that certificate, you can submit your application for citizenship.
I understand. Thank you. We have a question with a Hungarian wife and child. I'm living in Hungary, but no plastic address card. Would I still be able to follow simplified naturalization process, being married over 10 years?
So you've been married for 10 years and you have children.
They have a Hungarian wife, child living in Hungary, but no plastic card.
Yes. As mentioned at the beginning, you can be eligible through simplified naturalization if you are legally married to a Hungarian citizen and you have children together for minimum 5 years. So based on what you just wrote, I believe you are eligible if you meet these requirements.
Thank you very much. Good question from Katie. How does it work if someone signs up to your services but is not successful with the application? Has that even happened?
Well, unsuccessful application can happen due to a few reasons, basically. For example, if it turns out that your ancestor was not a Hungarian, but since we are focusing on providing full comprehensive services, and the very first step is confirming your eligibility for citizenship. So if you book a consultation with us, we see your documents and we confirm that your ancestor was not a Hungarian citizen, you do not have their records, and for some reason these records cannot be located, which can happen due to many reasons. I mean, we are talking about very old documents. So maybe these records got destroyed, or maybe you have incorrect information about your ancestors. Then we would advise you not to apply for the citizenship because we see that it might not be successful. But if we confirm your eligibility, we prepare your application documents, there is a very, very low chance that your citizenship will get rejected, but you still need to know that the final decision is with the Hungarian authority.
Yes. I think it would be maybe good to highlight here or to explain how does the procedure work when someone applies with helpers.
Yeah. So basically, if you would like to work with us, then we would recommend you booking consultation with us. First, we always have an online call with our clients where we basically discuss the requirements, we check your documents, we, as I just said, we confirm your eligibility, and then basically we also confirm whether you need genealogy research or not. And we also, and I actually wanted to mention that we are working with well-trusted external partners. So, for example, genealogists and the Hungarian language course. So if you need to learn the language, then we will connect you with our language school partner. And then basically we assist you until you receive your Hungarian passport.
Yeah, I think it's very important to say that we guide them through step 0, basically, which is the consultation, to the last step when they get their Hungarian citizenship.
Yes.
We mentioned the passport, but we have not mentioned any more detail about that, and that is mainly why people apply, or not mainly, but mostly people apply for the Hungarian citizenship. So, Dorka, tell me, how long does it take for someone to get their passport after they have received their Hungarian citizenship?
So it depends where you submitted your application and also which process you went through. So if it was simplified naturalization or verification, but normally it takes a couple of weeks to receive the Hungarian passport after they approved your application and you took the citizenship oath.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say? Thank you very much for the answer. I see that we do not have any more questions in the chat. So let's maybe wrap this up with a question. Why would someone hire a relocation expert, such as Help Us Hungary, to help them with their application?
So to understand the requirements and the regulations can be quite challenging, especially if you don't speak the language at the beginning. So you would need someone to confirm your eligibility for citizenship and to determine on which process you should go through, either if it's a simplified naturalization or verification or the regular procedure. And also we can assist you from the very beginning until you receive your Hungarian passport. We can assist you with arranging certified Hungarian translations to locate your Hungarian ancestors' vital records, and as discussed, even with learning the language.
Yes, thank you very much. And now we have spoken so much about the consultation, which is the first step towards working with us. We have a very special gift for everybody who is attending and watching this webinar right now. If you're interested in, we try to cover all the questions or reply to all the questions, but if you're interested in your specific case, if you're interested in having a one-on-one personal consultation with our experts, we have a special gift for you. We have a big, huge discount for you if you apply or book a consultation with us in the next 5 days. So this offer is only valid until the 2nd of July, which is the end of this week. You can follow the link in the description of this live event, and you can book a consultation at a discounted price, discuss your personal case, see if you're eligible. It is very important to say that you can book this consultation, have the consultation, as for example, if we see that you are not eligible for Hungarian citizenship, you do not have to go further.
Yeah.
But if we see that you're eligible, you want us to help you get the Hungarian citizenship, it is deducted from the price of the package that we have. It is also, I think, important to mention that the price of the application package, if you do continue, is a one-time payment. So you pay it once, and maybe this procedure, for some reason, your application process takes 2 years. You only pay once. So
That's correct.
yes. So please use the link. If the link is not there, please refresh your browser, and the link is going to be there. You can book your consultation at a discounted price. And if you have any additional questions, or if you have not answered your questions, or if you want to get in touch with our experts, please send us an email to citizenship@arpers.hu, and our experts will reply within one business day. Okay, okay, let's just one last question.
Okay, sure.
Pavli says that he was told that there is a way to obtain Hungarian passport for money. Is that possible?
No, that's not possible.
Yeah, so the Hungarian passport is only available to Hungarian citizens, which we have provided the processes which you can acquire them from. Okay, well, thank you very much, Dorka. Thank you very much for watching. We apologize for the technical difficulty. We practiced this 100 times, but there is always something that you can understand for. Yes. So thank you very much. Please book your consultation if you're interested in the Hungarian citizenship. We hope that we have answered all your questions. If we have not, please send us an email and we will reply within one business day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.